Good morning. Today we have Frederick the Great of Prussia to join us for a quick interview.
Yes, yes, hold your applause. You hold your applause. Yes, I'm here. I am present. Yes.
Frederick, what was your goal during your warfare, Your Majesty?
My goal was to modernize and unify my vulnerable, disconnected lands. And towards the end, I mainly fought my wars against Austria, whose Habsburg dynasty reigned.
How did you establish Prussia as a European power?
Good question, good question. I established Russia, first of all, as the fifth and smallest European power. And I did this by using the resources my father had cultivated.
Why did you decline to endorse the pragmatic sanction of 1713?
I declined to endorse the pragmatic sanction of 1713 because it was a legal mechanism to ensure the inheritance of the Habsburg domains by Marie Theresa of Austria. I wanted the prosperous Austrian province of Silesia.
Frederick, why did you invade Silesia the same year you took power?
I was worried that Augustus III, King of Poland and Elector of Saxony, would want to connect his own distant lands through Silesia.
Well, what occurred in the First Silesian War?
I conquered the province with the exception of Austrian Silesia.
What about the Second Silesian War, Your Majesty?
The Austrians attempted to regain the lands, but I was victorious yet again. And I gained possession of Silesia, which gave me control over the Odry River.
Why did you make an alliance with Great Britain at the convention of the Westminster?
I combined forces with Great Britain because my two traditional enemies, Habsburg Austria and Bourbon France, allied together in the diplomatic revolution of 1756.
Frederick, what happened on the 29th of August, 1756, when you striked first?
My army was well prepared, and we crossed the frontier and invaded Saxony, which started the 7 Years' War.
What were the results of your actions, Your Majesty?
Well, I faced a lot of criticism because I attacked Saxony, which was actually neutral. That was my bad, I guess.
And why don't you tell us why you kept Prussia in war?
Well, I didn't. I kept Prussia in war, but I didn't fully involve it. And I didn't fully involve it because I was facing a coalition of Austria, France, Russia, Saxony, Sweden. My only allies were Great Britain and Hanover.
Why was it so significant that Peter took control over the sudden death of the Empress Elizabeth of Russia?
This was significant because Elizabeth didn't really like Prussia, but Peter III was pro-Russia, and this led to the collapse of the anti-Prussian coalition, which I spoke about before.
Why did you involve Prussia in the low-scale war of the Bavarian succession?
I didn't want Austria to exchange Austrian Netherlands for Bavaria.
Frederick, you always hear people saying you're a tactical genius. Why would you consider yourself such a tactical genius?
Well, I myself think I'm a tactical genius because I use the oblique order of battle, and I prevented the unification of numerically superior armies and being at the right place at the right time.
Now for some questions about your modernization. So, what new crops did you introduce into Prussia?
Just the potato and the turnip, no biggie.
And how did you provide the state with more revenue?
I reorganized the system of indirect taxes.
Why don't you tell us who prompted or promoted trade?
Johann Ernest, whose last name I can't pronounce. And he also put together a silk factory which employed 1,500 people.
When did you start calling yourself the King of Prussia?
I started calling myself the King of Prussia after the acquisition of West Prussia.
Now for some quick questions about your religious tolerance, if we may. How did you tolerate other religions?
Well, mostly I just accepted Protestant weavers from Bohemia.
Tell me some of your greatest architectural builds.
Well, I built the Berlin State Opera, the Royal Library, and the St. Hedwig's Cathedral.
Very nice. And that concludes our interview. Thanks for joining us.
Did you know? Some say that Frederick's writings indicate they had simply greater priorities than women. He was not very known for having a lot of mistresses. Near the end of his life, Frederick grew increasingly solitary. His circle of friends at Assisi gradually died off without replacements. And he also became increasingly critical and arbitrary to the frustration of civil service and officer corps. Near the end of World War II, Adolf Hitler ordered the coffins of Frederick and Frederick William, as well as those of Paul von Hindenburg and his wife, to be transferred first to an underground bunker near Berlin, then hidden in a salt mine close to the town of Bernroth, Germany, to protect them from destruction. The U.S. Army discovered the 4 coffins on the 27th of April, 1945, behind a 6-foot Masonry wall deep within the mine, and moved them to the basement of Marburg Castle, a collection point for recovered Nazi treasures. I bet you didn't know that.
Right. This one's for you, McFadden. Tell me some of your greatest architectural builds.
Dad, what are you doing?
we're putting that in there.
You record, man?
Yes, I'm recording. Yes.
You being afraid all the other stuff.
I know, because I have enough room. Alright, be quiet. You were saying, sire?